Yeah, just reading a whole bunch of posts on the internet as well as chat posts from my raid group. Like the location types that people got invitations from overnight varied from like landmark locations such as the Columbus Circle area, and those are the type that I've been trying to hit. But it just seems like it's completely random now because there are some that are just sprint stores, and there are others that are just regular locations, and it's not even based on population. So I guess there's no ideal pattern you can go for it. You just try to win like as many raids in different locations as you can. So that's what we're trying to do here today. The priority is still going to be the legendary Raikou raids, and then I'm just going to go for any level in a gym that I don't have a victory in, and the boss has to be someone uncommon. Like these four you see here, you can catch in the wild, so I'm not going to go for those. And I'm going to try to look for the level 3s and 4s because those are the harder ones to get into back home. The 1s and 2s obviously can be soloed, but back in Queens where there isn't like a heavy population, or as much as Manhattan, I'd say, the 3s and 4s are really hard to get into because everyone is going for the legendaries. So it looks like we're going to have to move a bit because I don't want any of these four. It's always good to get supplies here, as well as Stardust. And actually, yesterday I did hatch an egg with a Nidoran that was good enough to evolve, so I do have another ground type in the lineup with Earthquake. So I'll go over that if I could find a Raikou raid. Alright, so we're over a little bit downtown and to the west side at Madison Square Garden, where there are two more middle raids spawning. There's a 3 and a 4, and next one is about 10 minutes, so I'm not sure what's going to be inside it yet, but I thought I would head this way just to see if it triggers anything else. And there is a Raikou raid in about an hour, so I figure do the 2 lower raids and then just walk around far from Stardust, maybe get a snack, and then we'll head over to Raikou. So I ended up recording a ton of video during this day, which included two raids that are attempting to qualify for the EX. So this is one of the ones you see here, the Tyranitar raid, level 4. Then I actually passed up on the next one, the Arcanine one that was nearby. And then after this, I went for 2 Raikou raids, and then I tried to get to a third one, but like the GPS wouldn't put me there. It was actually in a construction area that was boarded off, so I don't know how people were able to get into that one. But yeah, I didn't want to include the whole video for the entire day, otherwise this would be like 40 minutes to an hour. So I'm just kind of cutting out and putting some highlights in there. So with this Tyranitar, I actually needed this one, so it was good that people jumped on it, and a lot of people are going for Tyranitar still as if it was a legendary, because he's just a really good Pokemon and a good counter to a lot of the legendaries. I actually hopped on this one right when it spawned, and not enough people came in, and we just ran out of time, but we just went in immediately after and attempted it again, and it was pretty easy. So the video you see here is the second clip, because otherwise it would have been too long and too repetitive if I put in the first one. Passed up on the Arcanine one because like I already have a good one, and not a lot of people were interested in that one, so I didn't really want to blow a pass on that. So yeah, just headed off to the Raikou raids after that. Um, so the next clip after this Tyranitar catch, I'm gonna keep the live footage and timing on it because it's a pretty cool slice of life and a phenomenon of this game. Because for the next one, it was over in the other side of Madison Square Garden / Penn Station. It was actually the LIRR entrance, and there were a ton of people there, like at least 60, because I was standing next to two people that were in different groups than me, and both groups were full. So there's going to be, I didn't get a chance to narrate over because I was talking to the people, but I want to keep that footage in there because it's one of the cool things about this game. Like, it's basically four people that otherwise wouldn't even be talking to each other. But this game really brings together people. It's a great community also. So just to set up the next clip really quickly, there was a woman next to me that was playing with two phones, and that's a pretty common thing. Another guy next to me that was trying to catch his first Raikou, and a third person that was walking around trying to get reception as I struggle with and as many other players struggle with.
Oh shit, that's right. It started before you're in? Yeah, it started. You're in a different group. I got 18. No, you're about to probably start in right now. There you go. Alright, so all you guys. Yo. That's lame, dude. That's lame. Oh, no, it's freezing up there. Oh, it's a rain? Oh, there goes, my right arm. I never realized how fucking powerful Dolphin was.
Oh, yeah, I still have one of those.
I actually just evolved him.
Yeah, I have the whatever the unevolved version is. Just hatched.
Fancy.
Right.
Man, I'm fucking hungry and I'm over here fucking trying to catch this dude.
Well, that's the way it is now.
I know, right? Yo, we about to like beat him before fucking like 2 minutes or some shit like that. Oh wait, no, just go too soon. Oh yeah, we did beat him before 2 minutes is up. Or 200 seconds, whatever it's called. Now let's see. If this shit wanna cooperate with me. How much bag space do you have?
I'm just buying as I go along. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I kind of came back to the game like when in the middle of when the race started.
Yeah, we beat him. It's crazy.
Yeah, mine just ended.
We beat him before the 200 seconds was up. I think it's because we got 20. And alright, that's cool. Damn, dude. Unlucky right there. No!
Oh, you got is that in? Oh no.
I accidentally just wasted a ball.
Oh no, this is Team Mysticals. This one got 9 balls.
Yo, dude, really? I'm not gonna get any of them? I already wasted 4.
Yeah, the wet screen's gonna get in the way too.
Later, man. I'm pissed. My cousin's in Japan right now. He won't sign into my account. You still get banned for that?
No, they can't. They want you to be physically there.
Damn, that's lame as fuck. Can you just stay in the ball, please? Like, I would really appreciate it if you just stay in there. Yo, dude, really? That
Wait till it's
No, I threw it, right? I threw it and fucking, that's like, the moment it hit him, that's when he decided to hit.
You do like the target lock and then you wait for the attack and then you hit it?
Yeah, like I wait for him to like stop doing
It's gotta be
everything.
like 75% through his attack.
I already have one left. Okay, I got an excellent throw. That'd be nice if I actually managed to catch it. But no, that's not gonna happen, so there you go. That's nice.
Yeah, mine's kind of breaking out.
That was fun, right? Where's my free pass? Where's my free pass? But that pissed me off. I have 4 now that I've seen, and I haven't caught one.
Got both of them.
You caught him?
Both of them, yeah.
Nice. You got 2? You just fucking balling out over there?
Well, I'm like playing for my friends back then too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. My cousin could do that for me. He won't do it. Huh?
He can. I mean, that's up to him. His personal business. But you can sign up.
Asshole.
There's this guy on YouTube. I think his name is Mr. Six something. He has like 6 phones.
Mr. 7?
No, not Mr. 7. Mr. 6IX or something. He has like 6 phones like pasted onto a pallet, and he's playing with 6 phones.
What a crazy person.
So
I know he's spoofing, I'll tell you that much, because there's no way that he's actually running around, okay, with
yeah, but
6
he's
phones.
recording it though. And he's like soloing the level 4 raids by himself with 6 phones.
Funny. That's really funny though.
Because he's a rural player, so he doesn't have access to the city.
Did you catch him?
Yeah.
I'm not even catch him.
Low IBs.
No! He smoked like 4 of my balls. They both caught him. I didn't. That's some bullshit.
dude, you got to fight him. You got a chance to catch him.
I want to catch him, not freaking. Oh, here's a chance to catch him.
The catch is the hard part.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, yo, this motherfucker just
I
smacked
can't even log in.
Oh, wow. Damn, dude. Anyways, guys.
Yeah.
See ya. So all that footage that you just saw was from September 13th. And the video you see now is just going to be a sped up version of a couple of random Raikou raids. The two here are at the tail end of my most involved raiding day, which was September 15th, where I did I actually did 7 raids that day, and I've never done that many in that short a time. But I just happened to get lucky with the spawn locations, because I went to Manhattan and I entered at my normal spot, and I was able to get into 4 raids that day, like within a span of, I would say, I was probably only there like 2 hours max, but they just happened to spawn like really close to each other. And then I got back home to Queens, thought I was done, and then I saw a message from my raid group mentioning that there was a raid that I happened to be passing by, like on the bus. So I just got off at that stop, met up with some people from my raid group, and more people showed up. We did one there, and then another 2 spawned like a couple of blocks away. So we ran over to that one, took care of that one, and then there's another one like another block away. Like normally those are locations we usually hit, but I don't think they've ever spawned that close to each other. At least that I've been passing by there for. So it was just a really good day with spawns, both in Manhattan and then coming home to Queens, where I wasn't even expecting it. Now, while that was the most raids I've ever done in a day, most legendary raids, it was actually the worst day percentage-wise, and I kind of knew that was coming because like I had been getting really lucky. I think before that day I was something like 6 of 9 or 5 of 8, but it was something. It was above 50%. But on this day, out of the 7 raids, I only caught 2, so it is starting to even out. I entered at Bryant Park and couldn't connect to the center of the park, so that one didn't count because I didn't go into that raid. But that was pretty frustrating. Then after that, I went 1 block over to a Starbucks, and that's important because, like we noticed with the last round of EX passes that they gave out, they were awarded to a random number of people that did that had recent raid wins at Sprint stores. So it makes sense that they're hitting the EX raid sponsorship by sponsorship. So Starbucks is potentially a candidate for that, and it totally makes sense because it's great advertising. If you get like hundreds of people to stand in front of a store, even if a small percentage of that becomes customers, it's considered really good if we apply like a click-through rate to that. So yeah, went to Starbucks. I was not able to catch that one. So that's an over one. Went back to Bryant Park and it spawned at the other end of the park, where I could get reception with some moving around. Wasn't able to catch that one either. So the third one was over in Times Square, and that was, well, it was close to Times Square, a few streets over, and it actually ended up being at the M&M store, and I did catch that one. And the fourth Manhattan one was at St. Patrick's Cathedral, and I did miss that one, but it wasn't a total waste because St. Patrick's Cathedral is a good marker to have if they're going back to the landmark method of awarding the EX passes. So I never had a win at St. Patrick's previously, so it was definitely good to get that. Um, During the Zapdos week, I did get one across the street at Rockefeller Center. So I think that one is still recent enough if they decide to use that method for awarding like another round of passes. So I was 1 out of 4 for the Manhattan run, and that's about right, like percentage wise, because remember that it's a 25% catch at best, and I'm not throwing the best. So I would say that's still pretty good, but it just feels disappointing, like whenever you're not able to catch them, because it's like doing a raid and not getting the loot for it. So like to put that in perspective for DCUO players on my channel, 4 raids would be like Olympus, God of Monsters, Justice for All, and Ultimate Soldier. Let's say you did all 4 of those, and then you only got loot for one of them. That's what it would feel like if you just caught one Raikou out of the 4. So my current total tally of Raikous is 8 out of 17, and we're about halfway through. So the the law of averages is starting to come into play as I thought it would. Um, I'm actually pretty happy that I got the perfect one, the 1913, pretty early on. So that took off a lot of pressure, but I still want to get as many as I can. Going back to the topic of EX raids, since the latest round of passes went out on Wednesday, September 15th, which was Friday, the same time as I did my 7 raids. That was when the next round of Mewtwo raids happened, and there was actually one in really close to me here in Queens, and a number of people from my raid group were able to get in on that, and they did their captures. I think at least 4 people in the group have Mewtwo now, so that was really cool, and hopefully it'll get farmed out to more locations. And the funny thing is that the rest of us are trying to anticipate that, and we're just hitting as many different raid locations as we can. So definitely coming up, I'm going to be doing more than the legendary raids. Like I just need the marker. If even if there's a level 1 raid in a location that I think might get one, I'm just going to have to hop on it and try to get that marker. But for now, it looks like sponsorships, and I'll still hit the landmarks just to be safe. But yeah, everything's on the table. All right, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching.